Hello, my name is Megan Sauter. I'm an adjunct here at Dell Tech, and I'm here to talk to you about how we can reshape education in the English department by using podcasts for instructional purposes. Now, in this podcast presentation, I'm going to be discussing the following items. First, what are podcasts? Two, why should we utilize them? And three, how can we use them? Let's start with what are podcasts. So for those who are unfamiliar with this media format, they are audio or video files on a variety of subjects such as true crime or entertainment that can be downloaded to your computer or listening device. They can also be found on popular streaming services such as Spotify or Apple Music. Now, I'm sure what you're asking yourself as right now is if they are used for entertainment purposes, why should we use them? Well, because they've been used for entertainment purposes, they have significantly grown in popularity. According to a study done in 2021 by Project Podcast Insight, about 50% of all households are podcast fans. Additionally, their largest demographic is the 12 to 34-year-olds, which cover most of our student population. Another reason why we should use them is because they have shifted from entertainment to educational purposes, and they help meet a variety of student needs, including ESL learners, which we have a large population of, auditory and visual learners, and the commuters, which all our students are. Another reason why we should use them is for future pandemics or shutdowns. This way we will have an easier transition when we have to close down. So how can we use them? All right, let's start with some of the things that we already covered within the why should we utilize them. As I mentioned, we have there may be a future pandemic or shutdown, and if we use podcasts, we can have a digital lesson folder created that we can just upload to D2L to make the transition from in-person to online easier. The lessons are already there, so all instructors have to do is assign certain podcasts for students to listen to, whether it's about how to write the argument analysis essay or how to identify tone. And I talked about how it could also help our students. So we do have a large ESL population, and for those who are not in the ESL English courses, there still might be some struggle with keeping up with the classroom because native speakers tend to speak much more quickly because they're comfortable with the language. With podcasts, ESL students can stop the podcast to kind of take it all in, or repeat something that they missed, or listen to the podcast over and over again until they can translate it and understand it. Additionally, it, it, these files can be taken on the go for our commuter students. They can listen in the car. For our working students, they can listen to it at work. So it really expands the classroom beyond the building. Another way we can use them is to give context or preview for a reading. So in Unit 2, Unit 3, and Unit 4, and ENG 101, we do have readings for them to do. So we can give them a little podcast, a little 2-minute, 3-minute tops, giving context about the topic, maybe some background on the writer, to give them a better idea of what they're going to be going into. Additionally, we can totally flip the classroom experience by using podcasts. By having the instructional material in the podcast, we can have students do the listening at home and then come in and do creative, evaluative, and application activities in the classroom. So we can get students to higher learning that Bloom's taxonomy says is where they truly get the concepts. So we can move beyond having to lecture in the classroom and have them do the application at home without any assistance. We can do the application, evaluation, and creativity activities in the classroom to really build solid learning. Some other ways we can use them is to eventually replace the textbook. Recently, we've discussed about how the textbook is just another barrier for students wanting to get an education. So if we create all of the instructional material on podcasts, students can listen to them for free and don't have to worry about the cost of the textbook. Now that is just some of the ways we can use them to improve our educational experience here in the English department. Now, to give you guys an idea of what this transition would look like, I have created a mock podcast implication / communication plan. You can see, again, review why podcasts are important for the educational experience. There's a time frame, some project goals. I've also created a communication plan for the department chair, the full-time staff, and as any adjuncts who might assist with the project and the shift to podcast. I've also done research on the best educational podcast practices to help you guys have an idea of what this will all look like, as well as a rubric for what a good podcast looks like. Now, to get this, you can just hit the list button here in the corner and it will take you right to it so you can see what it will all look like. Now, thank you for coming and listening to this presentation. Please email me or call me if you have any questions about how we can utilize these podcasts and create a more effective learning experience here at Deltec. Have a nice day.